Arthur Folasa, Alu, a name that echoed hope, talent, and representation, was only 39 years old when his life was tragically cut short during what was supposed to be a peaceful gathering. Rally meant to celebrate justice and protest oppression. The streets of Salt Lake City were filled with voices that afternoon, voices demanding dignity, equality, and freedom. Among those voices was Folasa.com, proud, unwavering, standing for everything he believed in. But what began as a moment of community empowerment ended in unspeakable sorrow when a sudden eruption of violence shattered the day, claiming the life of a man whose spirit had only just begun to soar. It's the kind of tragedy that numbs you. When you hear it, you pause, read the headline again, hoping you misunderstood. Project Runway contestant killed at rally. Then the name hits you: Arthur Folasa Alu, Afa, the radiant Samoan designer who once lit up reality television. With his infectious energy, his intricate vision, and the kind of authenticity that couldn't be manufactured, gone in an instant. And not because he sought confrontation, not because he was careless, but because, heartbreakingly, he was in the wrong place at the wrong time, an innocent bystander, caught in a spray of bullets that turned a peaceful protest into a nightmare. It all happened so fast. DailyMail.com reported that a man identified as Arturo Gamboa, only 24 years old, appeared in the crowd with a rifle. Tensions escalated instantly. In the split seconds that followed, chaos took hold. Peacekeepers, alarmed by the potential for massacre, fired at the approaching gunman. In the melee, Gamboa sustained a minor injury. He was apprehended. But amidst the stampede, amidst the screaming, one life was taken. A bullet struck Afa, and just like that, the world lost someone extraordinary. He wasn't even with the group he'd arrived with when he died. According to Utah Representative Verona Maga, a longtime friend of Afa's and someone who knew not only his talent, but his heart. She had seen him earlier that day at the No Kings rally. It was supposed to be a unifying event, a collective response to what many viewed as the dangerous symbolism behind President Trump's birthday parade and regressive policies. It was about reclaiming space, reclaiming voice. He was with another group of friends when it happened, Maga told KSL-TV, still clearly shaken. When the shots were fired, people ran, and his friends later realized something was wrong. When they didn't hear back from AFA, that's when everyone realized something terrible may have happened. It's a gut-wrenching realization, too. Be surrounded by friends, laughter, and purpose one moment, and then silence the next. Silence that stretches on, becoming heavy with dread, till the truth finally arrives, crashing down like a wave too big to brace for. The No Kings rally, much like many that had been sprouting across the country, wasn't just a protest, it was a statement. A rejection of authoritarian imagery. A rejection of the kind of rhetoric that divides rather than unites. It was about taking a stand. And AFA, by all accounts, was always someone who stood for what he believed in. He stood with his community. He stood with marginalized voices. He stood for love, for beauty, for dignity. He was a man who, despite his growing fame, never distanced himself from the causes that mattered. And on that day, as he always did, he stood with love. AFA is a person who believed in equity and equality for all people and all communities, Maga continued, her voice choked with admiration and loss. He believed that everyone was deserving of basic human rights, and that's why he was there. He was with his community, and he was with people he cared about, marching and rallying for all of those things that make our community really great. What makes this even more painful is that AFA had only recently achieved something deeply personal and symbolic. He had become an American citizen, something he was immensely proud of. In a time where nationalism often comes with exclusion, AFA's story was a reminder of what America was meant to be, a place where dreams are possible, where identities are embraced, and where the richness of culture contributes to the nation's greater fabric. Afa just recently voted in his first election in 2024. MAGA revealed. He was so excited and proud to do that. Afa wanted to be very much a part of what America is and a part of the American dream. And in so many ways, he was that dream. Born in Samoa, he carried with him a legacy of resilience, culture, and creativity. He was unapologetically himself, bold, colorful, generous. Fashion wasn't just a career for him. It was a lifeline, a language, a rebellion, and a celebration all at once. And the world began to see what his community had always known when he competed in season 17 of Project Runway in 2019. He didn't win. He was eliminated in episode 4. But that didn't matter, not to those who understood what it meant to even get there. Because Afa wasn't just any contestant. He was the first Samoan to make it on Project Runway, and that alone sent shockwaves through the fashion world. It was validation for so many young designers of Native Hawaiian and Pacific Islander heritage who had been told explicitly or silently that their stories didn't belong in high fashion. Afa proved otherwise. That was a big deal, MAGA emphasized, to have someone of Native Hawaiian and Pacific Islander heritage be able to break into the fashion industry. And he's done amazing work for fabulous people. He brought his roots to the runway. He designed with pride. Each piece was a brushstroke of identity, culture, memory. His patterns told stories of oceans, ancestors, and dreams. His stitches were woven with courage. When he walked into a room, he didn't just bring fabric. He brought fire, laughter, and the comfort of someone who had fought hard to be seen and now refused to be ignored. But beyond the fashion, beyond the spotlight, Afa was simply a husband and a father. He had a family, 2 young children, who now must navigate a world without their father. It's nearly impossible to articulate what that loss means. To his children, he wasn't a TV personality, wasn't an activist. He was Dad. He was the one who made them laugh, who tucked them in, who probably made pancakes a little too early in the morning. He was love, embodied in every ordinary and extraordinary thing he did. What remains now is grief raw. It's unfiltered and immense. His family is left with memories, birthday parties, bedtime stories, quiet hugs after long days. His community is left with a gaping hole, a reminder of how fragile and unjust the world can be. His friends are left with echoes of his laughter, texts that won't be answered, dreams they once shared. And yet, even in death, Afa's light continues to shine. Not just in the garments he designed or the protests he attended, but in the way people now speak of him. In the tributes flooding social media. In the way strangers who never knew him now grieve him because they see something of themselves in his story. They see beauty interrupted, promise unfulfilled, but they also see resilience. They see a life that meant something. There's something deeply cruel about losing someone while they're doing what they love, while they're standing for what they believe in. But maybe that's also what makes Afa's story so powerful. He didn't die in vain. He died as he lived, with purpose, with community, with heart. And the work now falls on those left behind to make sure that purpose isn't forgotten. We must tell his story again and again. We must celebrate his artistry, his bravery, his joy. We must honor the dreams he held and continue the fights he joined. We must protect his children not only with love, but with the truth of who their father was, not just a name in a headline, not just a casualty in a conflict, but a beacon. So we remember Arthur Folasa. Alu, not in silence, but in color, in movement, in the rustle of fabric, in the rhythm of drums, in the chant for justice. We remember him every time a young Pacific Islander dreams of being seen. We remember him every time a father embraces his children with the promise of a better world.